All right, injury front, Deshaun, as you guys know, is going to have surgery on his Achilles this week, so he's out for the season. Dorian has that injury to his finger. We'll kind of get some more information on that today, this week, and we'll make some determinations this week, but still have some more information to gather, more opinions to gather on that one, so I can update you guys later in the week. As you know, just watching the tape, obviously frustrating not to play well on all three sides of the ball, play well enough to win on all three sides of the ball and put that game together where we're going and doing those things that look like complementary football. So got to do that. And obviously got another division game this week at our place. So that's our focus and that's what we're working towards. With that, I'll take any questions.
All right, first question will go to Tony.
Okay, Kevin, can you give a better explanation of why DTR was activated ahead of Winston, and did he get enough practice time to be prepared for seeing action?
Yeah, kind of like we talked about yesterday, Tony. I think going into the season, I felt like both guys were worthy of being the backup quarterback. I told those guys that early in the season. Felt like with not having that short yardage package with Jameis in this last game, felt like Dorian had acquitted himself well in practice and in his preparation to make him the backup. That's the story.
And the other thing is, it was the first time we saw Deshaun on the snake. Why did you make the decision that he would execute that play rather than Winston? During the week, you made that decision, obviously.
Yeah, again, that's something that Jameis obviously has done well in his career, but not having him up in the game, then it just became Deshaun would do that.
Okay.
All right, next we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Kevin. When it comes to Dorian, or is the information you're looking for whether or not he's going to need surgery on the finger?
I'd say all of the above. Just need to hear from a couple other people, but I feel good about him being available this season. Is it this week? Okay. Is it next week? I just need more information.
Gotcha. And do you know which kind of surgery Deshaun's going to have? Is he going to have the kind that Rodgers had?
I do not know.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Ashley.
Kevin, I guess, what's the reaction from the rest of the team to this over these less than 24 hours now? Just another obviously big personnel loss for you guys with Deshaun.
Yeah, that's obviously we're disappointed when we lose anybody, Ashley, to injuries. That's a very, very, very unfortunate part of our game. So it's tough. So we feel bad for Deshaun in this case, feel bad to lose him for the season. And we also know as a football team, this is where you have to step up. Guys have to step up, and that's just how it goes.
And then since you got asked about Dorian a little bit already, but if it is Jameis that's starting next week, just what you've seen from him in his time here so far.
Yeah, Jameis has done a nice job really going all the way back to since he's gotten here, understanding how we operate, what we do. Feel really confident in Jameis as well.
All right, next one to Mary Kay.
Yeah, I know you don't know yet, Kevin, if you would start Dorian, but because of the health of his finger and everything, but what would be maybe some reasons that you would want to see him more this season? Do you guys have to figure out if he can be your quarterback going forward or if he can compete for a job?
Yeah, I understand the question, Mary Kay. I'm not really there, though. My thought process is really day to day in this business right now. And so we'll see how he comes out of this injury, see what the doctors say and that type of thing. And then we'll make our decisions.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff.
Hey, Kevin, more of a big picture question. If you could look back to the beginning, where do you think this season went sideways when everybody expected so much from you guys?
Yeah, I understand the question, Jeff. I'm not really in that mode yet. That's for end of the season type things. I will tell you, this is sports. This is football. Teaches you a lot about yourself. You don't always get what you want. You put in a lot of work and you don't always get that result you want, but you just have to respond. That's really where we're focused.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Daniel.
Hear me?
Yes, got you now.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I know, throughout the start to the season, you were defended and kind of supported Deshaun as a starting quarterback. In your opinion and your kind of viewpoint, the team said you expect a full recovery when he does come back. Is it still your belief that he is this team starting quarterback?
Yeah, obviously I believe in Deshaun, but I also think it's important just to acknowledge that he just had a bad injury and bad break for him, and we're feeling bad for him and know that he'll bounce back, but not getting into all those things down the road. I'm looking forward to him getting the surgery and obviously getting his body back.
All right, next we go to Daryl.
Yeah, Kevin, I want to go back to DTR as the number 2 quarterback for a moment. You said yesterday that the backup quarterbacks, they don't get reps with the ones in practice. So my question is, how do you prepare a guy for a potential package usage in a game if they don't get those reps?
One more time, Daryl.
I'm just wondering how you prepare DTR for that package of reps that you said yesterday you thought about using him, and that's why you made the switch to elevate him to the number 2 quarterback. Just how do you prepare him for that if he's not getting those first team reps in practice?
Yeah, I have to be clear then. So our ones get all the reps in practice. If there's a package of plays for a player, he would get those reps in a practice. This was not the decision to put Dorian as a number 2 was not because of a certain package of plays. We didn't have a specific set of plays for Dorian in that game. We made him the backup quarterback, so he would serve in that role if there was an injury, and obviously we were not hoping for that. That was unfortunate how that played out. But it was really, I guess, to be clear, Jameis had a short yardage package in the previous weeks where he was going in. So he gets those reps in practice because we didn't have that in. And I felt like Dorian had done a nice job throughout practice, throughout really the spring and summer. That really was the decision. It wasn't about any sort of package for Dorian.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. And then I know you said you don't want to reflect on big picture as far as how and why this thing has gone the way it has in the first 7 games. My question to you now is, considering where you're at right now, how do you get this thing on track or keep this from getting worse, both on the field as well as, in the locker room with player frustrations and things like that?
Yeah, I think anytime, Daryl, when you lose, it's no fun. There's pain in that, and we don't love that feeling. But our guys understand that our goal is just to win. Just we want to win this game, this next, and all we can focus on, all we can control is this next one. Can't do anything about what's happened in the past, and I think we have a group that really understands that.
All right, next we go to Cam.
Hey, Kevin, it's maybe a little similar to Daryl's question, but after the game yesterday, a lot of players were voicing their frustrations with maybe the reaction from Deshaun's injury. So I just wonder, as the head coach of this team, what's the messaging to your players who may have been extremely frustrated by that, making sure that that doesn't spiral into anything more than it was?
Yeah, our guys are certainly supporting their teammate. I understand the emotions of it. Like I mentioned yesterday, I don't think there's a place for booing players that are injured, whether it's your own team, the opponents. I think everybody understands that. And I also know that's not everybody in that building. So, disappointed, but we're moving forward.
All right. And then on another note, Nick Chubb, obviously his first game back, he was limited in that second half. How did he come out of that one? And maybe what does the week look like for him in terms of a workload preparation?
Yeah, he came out okay. I think it's important, again, that he, builds on this week and we'll see where it goes from there.
Thank you.
All right, next we go to Chris.
Hey, Kevin, two just real quick questions. One, will you guys sign another quarterback, add another quarterback either to the active roster or the practice squad?
I think yes, but not exactly sure where that goes just yet.
Also, you mentioned Jack at the toward the end of yesterday. Any update on where he's at? Was it just precautionary, just something, you know, to get him out of the game?
Yeah, he was dealing with something, but I think he should be good to go.
Thanks.
All right, next we go to Spencer.
Hey, Coach. First off, just obviously another week where pre-snap penalties have been an issue for you guys. I know after last week we kind of asked Deshaun just like, what can you do differently? But from your vantage point, like how much of that from a coaching standpoint can you guys do to fix those problems that continue to just kind of persist?
Yeah, it's something that you emphasize in practice. You certainly emphasize in meetings. You emphasize during the game. Those are totally self-inflicted. Nothing that the defense is doing. It's our guys, and it's not just one position. It's multiple guys that have to understand that the way they call illegal shifts is you can't have two guys moving at the same time, and we have to be better. And it really is ultimately my responsibility, but it's the responsibility of our coaches, our players, to play within these rules and how they're officiating them.
And then we know how much this offense was kind of geared between you and Ken, sort of designing it for Deshaun throughout the offseason. How much can you change? Do you change if you go from Deshaun to Dorian to Jameis? What does that kind of look like? Is there different things you sort of institute depending on who's under center?
Yeah, I think you have to do that as an offense. Is you're always leaning into what your quarterbacks are most comfortable with. So that'll be true certainly moving forward.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, next we go to Justin.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about a specific play. Jedrick Will seemed to miss an assignment on that Dorian Thompson-Robinson sack, and he threw his hands up in the air. Looked like he was expecting someone off the edge and kind of let Trey Hendrickson come right through the line and get to DTR. Have you looked back on that play? And if you did, like, what exactly did you see on that play?
Yeah, I have. You know, I don't, as you can imagine, we make corrections in the building with our players and that type of thing. Obviously, that's not what we want to do on that play. We need to be better.
Thank you.
All right, last one from Mary Kay.
Yeah, Kevin, how hard was it to get a true read on Deshaun's value and worth this season? And do you feel like you really know who he is as a quarterback at this point in his career?
Yeah, I understand the question, Mary Kay, and I, you know, I feel badly for Deshaun with this injury. You know, this is a tough break for him, but I know he will bounce back. But he's been a great contributor to this football team, both in the locker room, on the practice field, on the game field, and we'll just support him as he rehabs from that injury.
But can you assess at all how well he played for you in under very trying circumstances with so much going on around him? And do you believe that if some things were different, could he fare better out there on the field?
Yeah, and again, I'm disappointed that it's only X number of games that he's able to play this season. But I do think we know what he's about. I know what he brings to the table for this football team.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that wraps us up. Thanks,
Okay.
Coach.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we'll have Denzel Ward here in a minute. All right, everyone, we have Denzel here if you want to raise your hand with questions. First question will go to Spencer.
Hey, Denzel. I talked to Greg a little bit after the game about this, but you guys obviously play a ton of man, but one of the tendencies from you guys is that there isn't this sort of commitment to one guy following somebody all over the field. Is that something that you'd prefer to do? Or is that just kind of the nature of you guys all kind of believe you can lock anybody down in any given play?
Yeah, I mean, I just personally prefer to do whatever for this team to try to get a win. That's the main goal. So whatever the plan is, I want to run and try to get a win. But to also answer your question, I feel we're all more than capable of locking our guys down and playing man to man and executing our assignment.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Denzel, can you just address the fact that you guys have lost Deshaun Watson for the rest of the season? What does that mean to you personally and to you guys as a football team?
Yeah, it definitely hurt. I mean, Deshaun, he's a great guy in our locker room and a great player. And but just like anything else, it's next man up mentality. And one of those other quarterbacks gonna have to step in and take on the role. And we're gonna have their back as we still have Deshaun's back as well. And we're just trying to find a way to continue to try to get a win each week.
And Denzel, knowing what Deshaun was able to do when he was out there this season, what did you think of his performance? Could you see you guys, winning with him going forward when he comes back from this surgery?
Yeah, I definitely could see us winning with them. It was definitely spurts there. I mean, we all got things that we got to work on and get better at. And so just praying for a speedy recovery and healthy recovery for him. And we'll all be waiting his return once he gets back.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Denzel. So how do you regroup at 1-6 and losing your starting quarterback?
Yeah, you gotta refocus. I mean, it's behind us and it's on to a new week. So we got Baltimore this week. We got to lock in on what we got to do to try to get a win this week and see our matchups and execute our assignment and go out there and do it. So it's just all about refocusing and find a way to get a win.
And I know it wasn't perfect, but did that feel like a step forward for the defense holding Cincinnati to 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, and that's the goal. Just trying to get better each week. Like I said, they're a great offense, and I feel we executed pretty well. But we got to play complementary football on all phases and help each other out. But I mean, it's things that we still got to get better at on defense, and we can still be better. So we're not all the way there yet, but we're on our way.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Patrick.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, just wondering, with with where you guys are at this season, like kind of how as a leader in the locker room, are you kind of talking to the younger guys to kind of keep your head up as you're moving forward in the season?
Yeah, just about just focusing on what we got to focus on and being intentional about all the details going in throughout the week and doing our own job, our own assignment, and taking care of that week in and week out.
All right, next we'll go to Cam.
Hey, Denzel, when you guys are in a rough stretch like this, 5-game losing streak, you're entering a new work week and you're looking for that win. Does it change the way that you do enter the work week, the way that you approach practice? And how does that look for you guys?
I mean, for myself personally, I just try to stick to the same routine. I mean, and follow the routine of practice, workouts, and everything. I don't think we gotta do anything too crazy. We just gotta key in, lock in on the details, know our job, know our assignment, and execute that out there on the field. A lot of times I feel like we do hurt ourselves with penalties and things like that. So we just gotta find a way to minimize that, and I think we'll be better.
Have you felt maybe a sense of urgency increase over the past couple weeks, or?
Oh yeah, no question. It's definitely a sense of urgency. I mean, no one likes losing, so we definitely don't want to continue this losing streak that we're on. So it's definitely a sense of urgency of trying to get this thing flipped around and get back on track.
Thank you.
All right, next go to Ashley.
Hey, Denzel, we asked Miles a little bit about this last week, and just as another defensive cornerstone, wanted to ask you, he was talking about after Amari was traded, how when you're losing as a team, guys kind of have to be ready for anything. I guess just how do you handle that part of the game at 1-6 like you guys are?
How do I handle what part exactly? Say it again. For
How
me.
do you guys as a group like handle this idea? Miles talked about how when you're losing, anybody can be gone basically at any time. Trades can happen. You kind of have to be prepared for that. Just how do you think guys are handling that part of it?
I mean, I think guys will handle it fine. I mean, we got our goal is to win each week. And like I said, our focus is on to get the game plan for this week going against Baltimore and seeing what we got to do to get a win and finding a way to execute that assignment. So I think that's all it is.
And then just when Deshaun went down yesterday, you know, multiple guys talked about it after the game, the reaction they heard from fans and maybe some booing, things like that. I guess just what did you see in that moment and your reaction just to as the injury happened?
Yeah, I think it was very disappointing to hear the fans cheer, boo, or whatever from I never knew when it was a good time to kick a man when he's down or hurting. And so I think it was just very disappointing. I feel like we people everyone has to be better than that. And look ourselves, look everybody gotta look themselves in the mirror and be better. I mean, regardless of what you may think of a person or what someone's been through or whatever the situation may be, that doesn't make it right or make it any better for you to kick a man when he's down or to cheer when someone gets injured. And so I think everyone just has to be better. But overall, that was just very disappointing to experience and witness that.
All right, and last one from Justin.
Hey Denzel, you've been a part of some frustrating seasons as a Brown. Given the start that you guys have had and the expectations, how not necessarily would you rate this disappointing start, like to compare to other seasons? Like, is it more frustrating given the expectations that you guys had going into the year?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. Because we definitely had big expectations and still got big expectations. I mean, we're trying to get this thing turned around and fixed, but it's just trying to stay focused on the week in and week out and seeing what we could do to get this thing changed around and not. I mean, no one's gonna feel sorry for us, or you can't feel sorry for yourself. So we're just trying to focus on the positive and do what we can to get this thing back on the right track.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Denzel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll have Cedric Tillman here in a second.
It's good, y'all.
All right, hi, Cedric. First question, we will go to Spencer.
Hey Cedric, obviously chance for you to start yesterday with Deshaun, or sorry, with Amari obviously getting traded, but what did you think of just the performance from your standpoint and how things kind of operated with the offense?
You know, for me personally, I just wanted to go out there and you know, play the best ball I could. And what that meant is locking down on the details, trying to be at the right spot to make the plays for my team and give 100% effort. So that's just what I was focused on.
And then we talked so much, or we asked you guys so much in the week leading up to Nick Chubb being back out there, just what his presence kind of meant for you guys from like an emotional standpoint. But it seemed like just him being out there also, you know, opened some things up with the play action game and just some different elements. Just what did having him out there, what did that kind of do for the offense yesterday, and how can you guys use that moving forward?
Man, it was great to have Nick out there. We all know what happened last year and stuff like that. We know the great player he is. So obviously when he's out there, defenses have to pay attention to him, and that obviously can open things for the offense.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Cam.
Hey, Cedric, I'm just wondering what you personally hope this week of work looks like for you, knowing that there is that opportunity for bigger roles and there is obviously going to be some differences in the quarterback. So what do you want this week of work to look like for you?
Just taking it one day at a time, not getting too high or too low. Like I said, just trying to lock in on the details and then be a good teammate so we can turn this thing around.
Is there something that you feel like can be unlocked, maybe even in your receiver room with some shifting around of pieces and parts
I don't know. Like I said, I think we're all just trying to show up to work every day and get better and get on a positive trend.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Cedric, I know you talked about the details, but is that the biggest reason you think there was such a difference in your production from the first few games till yesterday?
I'm not sure. This year I kind of said earlier during camp, I've just kind of tried to take a different approach. Obviously, um, with Coop being here, he was a little bit more involved, but when him not here, gave me a little bit more opportunity. So I'm just trying to keep climbing from that.
And I know you're close with Dorian, and he talked after the game how he thought his performance yesterday reminded him of that first start last year against the Ravens. So how did you see him kind of get past that last year, and how can he use that whenever he plays next if the finger's good and he plays this week?
Yeah, Dorian's a competitor. We all know I've been playing with Dorian for a long time. So, how it took last game was, it was his first game really out there. So, we'll all continue to get better. And yeah.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Mary Kay.
Yeah, just wondering, now that we know Deshaun is out for the season, what did you think of the season that he had? What do you think the outlook would be like for him when he comes back from this surgery?
It was definitely tough. You never want to see one of your brothers go down, especially now with that type of injury. So first, I'm sending my prayers towards him and hopefully he comes back. Well, I know he will come back, let me say, better and stronger. Like I said, it's tough seeing him go down.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll go to Justin.
They said, wanted to talk about, going back to the start of the season and that tough game against the Giants, having that drop pass, you were so hard on yourself. Coming back to today, where you led the team in yardage, and were second in targets to just David Njoku. How good did it feel? I'm sure this path has been anything but straight, but how good did it feel to kind of make your imprint on this team Sunday?
It felt good, but obviously I've learned in my, short career so far in the league, you can never get too high or too low. So, I'm just trying to be consistent, and I've already washed yesterday's game away, and I'm ready for Baltimore.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, last call for questions for Cedric. All right, we have one more from Spencer. Scott.
Cedric, off of sort of Justin's question, just over the course of year one to this year, and as you start to get more opportunities given, the Amari trade, just what do you think is maybe the biggest thing you've kind of learned as you step into a bigger role with this team and this offense?
We just have to be consistent, and I know it's not a good thing to say right now because the offense hasn't looked the way that we wanted it to look, but we got to figure it out. We're in this together. But in terms of what I've learned is that we got to be consistent, because when you're not consistent, you don't do what you're supposed to do, you lose ball games.
And then obviously last year when Deshaun got hurt, it was later in the season. You guys were obviously well positioned for, being a playoff team at that point. How do you, and not you specifically, but just as a team, how do you ensure that things don't spiral inside the locker room when not only you lose your starting quarterback again, but you're maybe not in quite the same position you were last year to feel like you're competing for the playoffs?
I think coach has been preaching, and we all agree with him that nobody still feels sorry for us. Obviously you hate to see Deshaun go down and other injuries we have on our team, but we're in this together, and we got to figure it out because we got to change things around.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, last one from Scott.
Thanks. On the pre-snap penalties, first of all, why do you think they keep happening every week?
I'm not too sure. I know that the refs have been told kind of this year to kind of look more into certain things we've been getting away with for a long time, but I'm not too sure about that.
And then how much of a focus has it been at practice to eliminate those?
And we've been working on it at practice all the time, because obviously we know it's cost us some points. So it's definitely been we're definitely trying to get that out of practice. We work on it, we practice it. Execution.
Thanks.